December 8th, 2025, 4:12 a.m., North Miami, Florida. This wasn't a cartel safe house. This was the home of two sitting judges. For more than 6 years, FBI analysts noticed something impossible to ignore. Drug cases vanishing from dockets, violent offenders walking free, children disappearing without investigation. Every pattern pointed to the same two people: Judge Amina Hassan, Miami-Dade County District Court; Judge Ahmed Ali, South Miami Heights City Court. Respected, powerful, untouchable, until tonight. The mansion sat at the end of a private road, lined with palm trees and ocean views. To neighbors, it looked like success. To federal surveillance teams, it looked like a military compound. Armed guards, rotating shifts every 8 hours, infrared sensors covering the perimeter, vehicles arriving after midnight with covered cargo. Witnesses reported screams coming from below ground level. ICE traced missing Somali children back to this address. And then the final warning: another violent trafficker released by Judge Hassan. The 614th case dismissed in 6 years. Federal command made the call. This ends tonight. If you believe no authority should place anyone above the law, hit like now. What you're about to hear will change how you see power forever. At 4:12 a.m., the tactical commander gave the order: all units, prepare for engagement. Inside the mansion, elite mercenaries moved to defensive positions. Former African Special Forces, paid in cash, trained to kill. They weren't guarding a home. They were protecting an empire built on corruption so deep it had operated beneath Miami for over half a decade without detection. The storm was seconds away. Type justice. If you believe judges must be held to the highest standard, what comes next reveals how power became protection for the unthinkable. The deeper investigators went, the clearer the truth became. Judges Hassan and Ali hadn't simply bent the law. They had constructed a parallel system where justice served criminals instead of victims. It started when both rose to prominence within Miami's Somali immigrant community. Publicly, they championed vulnerable families. Privately, they formed alliances with gang networks operating smuggling routes. From Mogadishu, Nairobi, and Djibouti, these weren't street gangs. These were organized trafficking pipelines, moving East African heroin and fentanyl directly into American cities. Once Hassan and Ali controlled the courtroom, the protection was absolute. Over 614 criminal cases tied to their network were dismissed. Violent offenders erased from the system. Drug traffickers vanished from arrest records. Child exploitation suspects released without trial. The message to criminals was unmistakable: work for us, and you're invisible. But the drug operation was only half the story. Federal intelligence confirmed at least 60 children trafficked through their network. Estimates suggested over 100 victims across 6 years. Undocumented minors, runaway teenagers, kids taken from neighborhoods no one paid attention to. They were moved through 17 safe houses in Little Mogadishu, then sold to wealthy buyers in Miami Beach, Orlando, and beyond. Once inside the pipeline, their identities were erased. To enforce control, the judges hired mercenary protection teams, men with combat experience from conflict zones across East Africa. They guarded shipments, moved product, eliminated threats. Local surveillance attempts failed before they even started. The drug route they controlled moved over 1 ton of heroin and fentanyl annually. Street value, over $350 million. Shipments passed through Miami ports using falsified customs documents protected by judicial immunity. By the time FBI and IC mapped the full structure, one conclusion was unavoidable. This wasn't organized crime. This was a shadow government run by two people who believed the law existed to serve them. And now their reign was about to collapse in violence. At 4:12 a.m., federal units moved. FBI tactical teams advanced from the west perimeter. ICE and Homeland Security closed in from the south. The mansion appeared silent under moonlight, white stone walls, manicured lawns, but agents knew what waited inside. The first shots came before they reached the courtyard. Automatic gunfire erupted from the balcony. Muzzle flashes lit up the darkness. Bullets tore into palm trees and stone columns as FBI operators locked shields and returned controlled fire. Contact front, someone shouted over the radio. Two mercenaries fired from a mounted weapon on the second floor, unleashing continuous bursts. Flashbangs arced upward, exploding in blinding white light. The balcony was cleared within seconds, but the fight was far from over. A second group of mercenaries stormed through the front entrance, moving with coordinated precision. These weren't amateurs. They carried military-grade weapons, night vision scopes, extended magazines, suppressed rifles, the kind of equipment that shouldn't exist in a civilian home. ICE breached the eastern windows with hydraulic tools. Smoke filled the marble hallways. Gunfire echoed through corridors as agents pushed deeper inside. One mercenary charged forward, firing blindly. An FBI operator tackled him to the ground before he reached the stairwell. Upstairs, a third squad of guards tried to flank from the bedrooms. Thermal imaging caught their movement. Within moments, another team intercepted them in brutal close-quarters combat. Glass shattered, furniture splintered, walls cracked under the impact. Outside, a final group of mercenaries attempted escape toward the docks behind the property. ICE-armored vehicles cut them off. A short, violent standoff followed before the guards surrendered. 9 minutes and 38 seconds after the first shot, the gunfire stopped. The mansion, once an impenetrable fortress, now stood under full federal control. 11 mercenaries injured, several dead. The rest handcuffed on the lawn as ambulances arrived. Remarkably, no federal agents were killed. An astonishing outcome given the firepower they faced. But inside, agents felt no relief. Not yet. The real horror was still waiting. As FBI teams swept the ground floor, one operator radioed command. "We found something. A hidden door behind a wall panel." With that discovery, the operation shifted from combat to something far darker. Stay with us. What waits beneath this mansion is worse than bullets. The gunfire had ceased, but a heavier silence filled the mansion. Agents moved carefully through shattered hallways, clearing rooms with the discipline of professionals who knew danger could still be hiding. Then came the call from the eastern corridor. "Command, we've got a concealed entrance." Behind decorative paneling, agents discovered a seam too perfect to be architectural. A hydraulic ram forced it open. The wall swung inward, revealing a metal staircase descending into darkness. Cold air rose from below. No one spoke. They simply followed the stairs down. At the bottom, a reinforced hallway stretched nearly 40 yards, lit by flickering industrial lights. The air smelled of chemicals, sweat, and something worse, fear. The first room they entered was staggering. Steel racks filled with narcotics, brick after brick of heroin, fentanyl, methamphetamine stacked like inventory. On the far wall, military weapons hung in perfect rows. AK variants, AR platform rifles, tactical shotguns, precision optics. An agent whispered the first estimate: approximately 1 ton of product, hundreds of weapons. This is a full-scale armory. The second room was stranger. Computers, printers, laminators, holographic film, blank passports, an entire laboratory for producing false identities. The judges had built a system to erase people. File boxes held photographs, fingerprints, dossiers, evidence of a coordinated trafficking network operating across state lines. But agents felt something was missing, something worse. That's when they reached the third door. It was locked from the outside. When the bolt was cut and the door opened, several agents froze. Others instinctively raised their flashlights, though the truth was painfully clear. Even in dim light, more than 60 children, thin, shaking, barefoot, huddled together on concrete. Some shielded their faces from the sudden brightness. Others stared blankly, too traumatized to react. Their clothes hung loosely. Their wrists showed marks where restraints had been. One small boy stepped forward, voice breaking. "Please, are you here to take us home?" A veteran FBI agent with 3 decades on the job felt his throat tighten. "Yes," he said, kneeling down. "You're safe now, all of you." Medical teams rushed in with blankets, water, stretchers. Some children cried the moment they felt a gentle hand. Others remained silent, clinging to one another. ICE documented each child carefully, ages ranging from 4 to 16. Many matched missing person reports stretching back years. The weight of the discovery pressed hard on every agent present. This wasn't just crime. This was moral collapse engineered by the very people sworn to uphold justice. As evidence was cataloged and children were evacuated, a single truth echoed through those hidden halls. The judges hadn't just betrayed the law. They had buried innocence beneath their own home. Upstairs, while medical teams cared for rescued children and technicians secured the underground complex, FBI tactical units moved toward the mansion's private wing, the place where Amina Hassan and Ahmed Ali lived, worked, and commanded their empire. For years, they had walked into Miami courtrooms wearing robes of authority. Tonight, agents approached their doors with weapons raised. Judge Ahmed Ali was found first. He stood inside his paneled office, still wearing his embroidered judicial robe, as if clinging to a title that no longer protected him. On his desk sat an open laptop displaying encrypted ledgers, transaction logs, shipment schedules. When agents ordered him to step away, he lifted his hands slowly, more resigned than defiant. His voice was calm, almost rehearsed. "I serve my community," he said. An FBI operator replied bluntly, Not anymore. He was handcuffed moments later. Across the hall, the situation was far less controlled. Judge Amina Hassan had barricaded herself inside a reinforced room. Agents heard paper tearing, a lighter flicking. She was destroying records. Tactical operators breached the door with a battering ram, forcing entry as smoke filled the space. Hassan tried to shield a burning file box, screaming, "You don't understand. We had to do this. We were protecting our people." But the evidence said otherwise. On a table beside her were high-end communication devices linked to traffickers in Africa and the Gulf states. Another workstation held coded spreadsheets, tracing payments from wealthy American buyers. Along the wall, a corkboard displayed dozens of passports belonging to children taken over the years. Every detail contradicted her desperate claim. As she was restrained, her expression shifted. Not guilt, not fear, outrage that her power had finally been challenged. "You're destroying stability," she spat at the lead agent. "You built slavery," he answered. Both judges were escorted downstairs, forced to walk past federal teams documenting the horrors they had overseen. They saw doorways smashed open, crates of narcotics tagged as evidence, the long line of children being cared for by medics. Some children stared at the judges with confusion. Others turned away in instinctive fear. For the first time, Hassan and Ali witnessed the full consequence of their hidden world, exposed under bright tactical lights. Outside, the mansion lawn had transformed into a federal staging ground. Dozens of vehicles, generators, stretchers, satellite units. News of the raid hadn't yet reached the public. But inside the command tent, agents were assembling a criminal profile so overwhelming, no courtroom in America could ignore it. The fall of the judges was swift, absolute, undeniable. Their empire had collapsed in a single night. But for federal authorities, the operation was far from over. Miami's criminal network had just lost its leaders, and now every hidden accomplice was racing to escape. By sunrise, the mansion was no longer a crime scene. It was the epicenter of a national awakening. As news reached Washington, federal command realized the implications. The fall of Hassan and Ali wasn't simply the dismantling of one corrupt household. It exposed an entire criminal economy threaded through Miami's Somali underworld. And now that its leaders were in custody, the network was destabilizing, splintering, becoming dangerously unpredictable. Within hours, FBI and ICE authorized Operation Clean Wave, the largest coordinated immigration and gang crime sweep in modern American history. The mission began in Little Mogadishu, where dozens of safe houses had operated quietly under the judge's protection. Now, without judicial shields blocking warrants, agents moved aggressively. Streets that seemed ordinary yesterday were suddenly filled with federal vehicles, K-9 units, tactical teams breaching doors in rapid succession. Many suspects surrendered quickly, stunned that their legal protection had evaporated overnight. Others chose violence, firing from rooftops or alleyways, only to be overwhelmed by federal force. By mid-morning, agents had seized multiple warehouses across the industrial district. Inside, they found shipping ledgers matching the judge's encrypted files, proof of narcotics routes from Mogadishu to Djibouti, across the Gulf, through cartel ports in Mexico, finally into Miami's underground. Another warehouse held a chilling discovery: bunk beds, children's clothing, transfer documents, evidence that trafficking operations extended far beyond the mansion's basement. At the port, ICE detained smugglers attempting to load containers onto outbound vessels. Several tried to bribe officers with cash and gold, insisting the judges would fix this. They didn't yet know their protectors were already in handcuffs. Throughout the day, arrests mounted: gang lieutenants, drug couriers, human smugglers, document forgers. Every link in the chain was identified and targeted. Federal buses transported detainees to holding facilities across Florida. By evening, more than 427 individuals were arrested, with hundreds more flagged for immediate removal proceedings. Over the next week, the number of Somali nationals living in the U.S. illegally and tied to the network rose into the thousands. ICE chartered flights to begin large-scale deportations, focusing on high-risk individuals connected to trafficking and narcotics distribution. For the first time in years, Miami's streets felt subdued, not from fear, but from the sudden absence of an underground criminal structure that had quietly ruled whole neighborhoods. Meanwhile, in a federal precinct downtown, judges Hassan and Ali sat in separate interrogation rooms, no longer speaking confidently, no longer certain of their influence. They had once controlled courts, criminals, communities. Now their names appeared on the first line of a historic indictment documenting conspiracy, human trafficking, crimes against children.